and welcome to Tea and Tarot Tuesdays with Julia
and Melissa.
It's our episode 2, and we're so excited to be back. We were able to pick up some really cool things this week. There were a lot of markets happening in where we live. And I think we're going to start with the ceramics.
Yeah, go for
it. So the ceramic that I'm featuring this week is Bookworm Pottery. I just adore her, and how I found her is she had this mug for sale, and it had a frog in the bottom of it, and it's so cute. And it reminds me of over the summer I got really into planting, like most people, and I had a little green frog that would hide in the neck of my watering can, and he would scare me every single morning that I would go out to water my plants. Recently, myself and some of my soul sisters have been having dreams of frogs. I recently had a dream of a green frog that was chasing me, but in a very light, fun way, not in a scary kind of way.
And it reminds me of Frogger.
Yeah.
Did you ever play Frogger when you were little?
I didn't.
Totally okay. For those of you that have, you kind of get it.
Yeah. And I've been looking up the spirit animal of frogs, and the general message that I kept getting again is kind of getting ready to leap towards something new and just taking that chance and going after it. It does talk about new ventures and new ideas, and so that the frog's been a big influence this week. So I wanted to.
What's the name of her company?
Bookworm Pottery.
Bookworm Pottery.
And I'll link all of her information below.
Then we have the little cauldron.
Oh, yes, the cauldron. I picked this up at a market this week.
How cute is this?
I know.
She's got some herbs. She's got stones in here. Is it soy-based?
It is. It is soy-based candle. And this is the winter solstice version, and it's sweet orange, balsam fir, and cinnamon. And I love it. It's supposed to bring comfort as you shift through change, which I think is probably going to be perfect for the message today. So
it smells. It's really, really warm, and I just love having it on our table with us.
Yes. And it's hawthorn. I just didn't want to say it wrong, but hawthorn and oak. And I will link their information below. They had smoke bundles, they had candles, they had teas. So I'm sure we'll be featuring one of their teas soon.
Yes. And speaking of teas, we are bringing back Snowshoe Workshop. This week I bought Violet Retrograde, and it is a beautiful blend of lemongrass, rubio, spearmint, blue pea flower, hibiscus, rose petals, elderberries, and natural violet flavoring. And it is honestly, it kind of surprised me the first time I did it. I don't really have a teapot, so I use my my coffee press, and I got ridiculously upset when the color wasn't changing at all. I thought it was just going to be clear tea. And then it changed like this magical purple color, and I just think it's like when it steeped, I was like, oh my god, this is potion. I am drinking potion.
I think that's how I started getting into tea. Is it just felt like I was mixing something up, and it's something I used to definitely do when I was a young child.
Oh, it's just magical.
Yes.
So that is Snowshoe Workshop. So check her out. Everything, like she said before, will be in the description box below. So I think now we are going to go ahead and finally get into this reading.
Yeah, last week was a doozy. The messages that we pulled through last week, I certainly experienced it. I don't know why I didn't realize it when we were reading the cards, but the cheetah energy for me was definitely just starting this and really moving full force towards it, and just really seeing. It was such a beautiful, beautiful week of aligning with the energy of this and really throwing my heart and just everything into it, and seeing the synchronicity literally everywhere. Everywhere. 4s, 2s, 7s were a big one for me this week.
And can I just say something? I feel like tarot reading can be so addicting sometimes, and for myself, I know Julia does it. We read every single day, and I know a lot of you do too. I've found that when I do that, I don't always really absorb the message. This is actually something I don't think I've talked to you about yet, but I'm always ready for the next message. And I feel like a lot of us, like Americans in general, or wherever you are, in the world, we're very, what's next, what's next, instead of just kind of like chilling out and, really soaking in the message that Spirit is bringing us that day. And that's kind of what I focused on this week. I feel like last week I got to really be by myself, kind of be more playful. That popped up in a few of my other readings. So I'm very interested to see what comes up for me this week, since I concentrated so much on the message from last week. And I really hope that everyone takes that message as well and moves forward with what we have today.
It's so I was just waiting for you to finish because what you were saying came through. I'd been shuffling this animal deck and just nothing was coming out, and I was like, timing will be perfect, I'm sure. And the bear came out, and the very first messages I was getting was coming out of hibernation. And I almost feel like that has been my energy as well, just like for the whole year. Hibernation and going into quarantine and really going into a lot of solitude, it forced not only myself, but I'm sure everybody to sit with what that energy is that comes in when you're alone. The distractions were really quieted down quite a bit. And they're really, if you had any shadow aspects that that needed to be faced or needed to be healed through or looked at, I feel like this year you had really no choice.
You were forced into it.
And so the bear energy, though, I'm feeling like the energy coming into this week is really taking all the work that you've done in the past year or maybe more than that, coming out of hibernation and taking those lessons and now applying them to this new venture. If you are moving into that like cheetah energy and something has been starting to unfold for you, you're really taking that wisdom and that calm and that peace and your trust and your ability to sit with yourself and recognize your shadow aspects.
And I look at that bear and I still feel like there's a lot of us that have been working and dealing with a lot internally. And I was told this week that like my aura is gray, which is kind of like confusion, unknown. I told you guys last week, everything kind of got flipped around on me. I don't really know where I'm supposed to be going. Really embodying like the Fool card and jumping into like a new venture, a new job, a new relationship, completely blind and just letting yourself fully be committed to that. And I see the bear kind of looking into like this gray mist. And I feel like that's really what's going to come out today is like continuing that new venture that you really want. What we have over here is it's called self-creation, be the author of your own life. And it really looks like there's a lot of other people around you. There's a lot of different colors. So maybe really using your friends and your family or the people that you love the most and leaning on them and maybe getting that support from them because you might be really nervous to jump into this new venture.
This message is so beautiful to me. The self-creation, be the author of your own life, and then the commitment. And so in the commitment card, there's these two birds, but they're tying the string into this heart. Again, reminds me of the message from last week of diving into something that truly is aligned with your heart, something you're extremely passionate about. And you're creating from that venture with all of these colors. It reminds me of the energy I've been in all week. I've been seeing just like every time I close my eyes, really just in every moment. There's pinks and purples and just like sparklies, and I've just been feeling the feminine energy, which is like that creation and everything just coming into alignment and things just falling into place exactly where they're meant to be.
I love that the moon is behind her too. I just noticed that.
And then on my end, I got manifest. The world is your playground. What do you want? And yesterday, I was so much in this energy of just like being a little girl. Everything that I saw that was, I think I made a post about this, but everything I saw that was so magical to me, I was like, I'm not going to say no to myself today, and I'm not saying that we need to do that every day, but I wasn't just buying to buy. I really wasn't. I was purchasing things that were speaking to me, and I was being guided to pick them up. The world was my playground yesterday, and really is most days. And I walked into markets and I walked into grocery stores, and what is in alignment with me right now? What is calling me? What wants me? Because what I want wants me, and
you wanted everything.
And that's what it could seem like, but it was really just I wasn't saying no. I picked up some really beautiful things. I picked up this moonstone ring. I picked up this cauldron candle, which I love so much.
You reminded me of like a little fairy yesterday.
Yeah,
you were just like,
I
can buy this and I want this.
I felt like a little fairy. And I feel like coming into this week is kind of like you've done so much reflection and so much healing. The world is going to feel like your playground. Like, what are you creating? And just seeing the magic. Last week it was like, here's this opportunity. Let's run. And I think this week you're going to see the magic unfold of like how beautiful it is when you start to follow those synchronicities, your heart, where your passion's leading you, your messages, tuning a little bit more into your intuition.
The spirit kind of messed me up today. Look at all those.
Oh, yeah.
I hate it when that happens. That popped out.
Ooh, and the devil card.
El Diablo.
Whenever I see the devil card, it's almost to me, so, yeah. Yeah. Well, to me, so this is the Two of Wands. This is just the message that I'm getting. The Two of Wands talks about making a decision. You make a choice. You choose the one that you're going to go with. You choose the venture you're going to go with. You make a decision.
Oh, I just got chills. I have been stuck between two things all week long, and I'm just like, I really feel like Spirit has been pushing me in one very specific direction, but I'm just like, not ready to let go yet. And oh my gosh, that's
and
so
look at this
funny.
card. In this card, there's like these two lambs. I'm not sure what the animal is, but they're chained to this pole. And it just reminds me of the two decisions that she's talking about of just like, I don't know which direction to go. I'm not sure what I should go. And I think it's just like, it feels like you're entrapped, in an entrapment of yourself. And the devil always talks to me of like, those energies that can be all consuming, and is there a warning there when something is all consuming? And the devil just, it always speaks to me of like, I'm looking for the right message, but just too much of something, and not the ability to not keep the balance. And I almost see that with the two chains here and the two wands of like double dipping. And I knew this was going to be a message that was going to come in this week of where is your energy? Because if you're spending energy, if you are between worlds and you've got 2 feet, and if you have 2 feet in 2 worlds, you can only devote as much energy as you have your foot in. I don't know how else to explain that, but you're exhausting yourself in trying to balance those two, when really there needs to be a decision of where are you going to start to put more energy? Where are you going to start? Are you going to go in this direction, or are you going to go in that direction? Because if you keep deciding to split, you're going to exhaust yourself. You're going to overwhelm yourself. Where do you want to spend your energy? Because where your energy lies is where you're going to create. So the more energy you put in what it is that you want, the more you're going to create. And if you're not doing that, you're probably going to find that you're just going to be stagnant in both sides, on both ends.
And that's really funny that you say that, because the Strength card and the 6 of Wands came up upside down. So really making that decision is going to be crucial for you in this, in the next week, 2 or 3 weeks coming. It's really holding you back from having the strength to fully commit to whatever new thing that you have going for you right now. And the six of Wands, no, I'm sorry, the 6 of Swords. Did I say 6 of Wands earlier too?
No, it's okay.
Okay, well, he's got a little cover. Is that a turtle? This is a new deck. I got this new deck. I don't even know.
It's beautiful. It has animals in it.
That's all we need to know. It looks like he has like a little sheet on him, like he doesn't know, like he's blindfolded or something.
I never noticed that in that card before.
The Fool, it just reminds me of the Fool. You're gonna have to go into this blind. You have to make a decision, and you have to stick with it. For those of us, I am not an indecisive person, so I'm always just like, pick one and go and stick with it. And even if it's the wrong decision, you're gonna really work at it until that cycle is complete, and then it'll, Spirit always has a way of like re-guiding us to where we are meant to be. So even if it's not the right decision right now, guess what? Spirit's gonna come at you and guide you in the right way.
And you know, and this is how you know. Personally speaking, like this is just coming from my own perspective and what I've been through. I know the difference because I stopped seeing the synchronicity. The creativity starts to shut off for me. I stop to feel that passion. And to me, this feels, I'm a little bit different because I'm all in. I'm all in. I've kind of been down this route a little bit before.
But do you have 2 things that you're split in between right now?
Well, there's, a very physical, what I would call like a 3D job, but it is aligned with my heart. I actually really, really do love what I do in more of that, the 3D, I guess you would call it, outside of this. And so I felt a little torn before, but I know that there's something I'm closing up. So I've come to a lot of clarity in that job because I know what my purpose is there. But I feel like if you're struggling to know what your purpose is and where you are, so if you do have 2 feet, I don't know how else to explain that, but if you are kind of in 2 different worlds right now, if you don't understand why you're in, like if you don't understand your purpose in both of those worlds, it may be really difficult for you to close the door on one of them. Because you're going to be like, what was the purpose of that? And sometimes we need that. Sometimes we need to understand, do a little bit of meditation of like, what was this? What did this bring to me? How did I grow here? How is this growth going to apply to the new direction I want to move? And yeah, that strength card,
change is scary.
Change is scary, and that's why the strength card is in reverse. It is scary, because I think we're really moving. I think a lot of us are moving into the direction of. There's a lot of magic to be found in following your heart and going after, what brings you to life. And I think I've done a lot of inner child healing, and I know that's really helped me, and it really allows me to go back to what it was that lit me up when I was a kid, so I could remember that, because there is a point, I think, for a lot of us when we're young, we're doing something we're really excited about, and then someone comes along, or something comes along, or whatever it may be, and it shuts it down, and it makes you think that it's not real, it's not possible. Magic isn't real, spirit isn't real, whatever it may be. It is. I've experienced it. I know that it's real. All these things that I believed in when I was a kid are real. And I've seen them now because I believe
social constructs.
I believe in them again. And it's magical. And so that can be really scary to have the strength to overcome some of those really deep programs, and sometimes it even goes back to just family lineage and cycles and things that have been repeated over and over and over again. And to break that cycle, it does take a lot of strength. And so it does take a lot of courage to be able to do that. But I'm telling you, you'll know you're on the right path, because you'll see the synchronicity, you'll get the messages, your heart's going to be lighting up, and when you feel and truly feel like you're surrounded in abundance, it shows up everywhere.
And then we pulled, this was my future energy, was the Empress.
Okay.
She's holding her little wand. I love the pinks.
Yep.
And pink has been a theme this week for sure.
We talked about
She
the
is
Empress.
happy as hell too. She got a big old smile on her face, and she is out in the woods. Yeah, maybe if you're having a hard time deciding which way to go this week, take your shoes off and walk around outside and really ground yourself. I feel like a lot of us forget to take our shoes off and just be on earth. Go take a walk on the beach, go take a walk in the woods, or just be out in nature. I know it's kind of cold outside right now. Maybe taking your shoes off in the middle of winter won't be the best idea, but if you can, just go outside and just breathe that fresh air. And I think that'll really help you make a decision.
I agree with you. I think this comes back again to the message of last week of bringing in a little bit of that masculine energy, which is going to be more of the physical, the planet, the earth, those types of energies here, and to stay grounded a little bit, just based off of my own experience when I really kind of dove into the feminine energy and it felt very disconnected. I was healing my feminine energy, so I was very disconnected from the masculine energy. I was pretty much just up in, I don't know where I was, but I wasn't very grounded. I had no awareness of what people thought about me or what I was saying. I didn't care. And while that is really beautiful and super healing and needed, I needed a little bit of that grounding energy. And as soon as I started to get myself back into nature, and I started going to the mountains, and I started really connecting with the earth, what I was manifesting up in that very spiritual plane started to manifest very hard down here in the physical. So I agree. I think it's funny that her bed, this pig's bed, is in the woods. So it's kind of like her dreams, all of the things that she's dreamed up is in the woods, which is great. It's great, as in it's coming down here to the physical to manifest.
I love it. Do we want to pull any more?
Yeah, well,
I was told that was it for that deck.
Because I think a lot of guidance came through, and the card that I got here for part of the guidance is tribe. And it says, ask the universe to start bringing in like-minded people.
Right here.
It's really important if you are starting to venture off into a new direction and you're making that decision to go there. I would encourage you to seek out people who align with that energy, people who think like that, like-minded people. The more and more that you surround yourself with those types of energy, the more and more you're just going to expand, and you're just going to keep creating, and you're going to really fall into who you are. I know probably at the beginning of my awakening journey, one of the most critical things I did is I really went through my social media feeds of who I was following and the messages that they were sending, and what that energy is. When you're scrolling, you go into a meditative state, and you start to program those ideas and thoughts into your subconscious, and you start to create that. So I went through and I really deleted all of those energies and those messages that just were not in alignment with where I wanted to go and where I was being called to. And the more and more people I started following that their messages were in alignment with me and resonated with me, I just kept expanding and falling deeper and deeper into who I genuinely am. So I think that that's the guidance going into this week, is just like as you're seeing all of it coming together, the big message here is you're coming out of this hibernation mode. There's been a new opportunity that is just, I don't know what it is, but there's been a new opportunity.
You need to make a decision.
Yes, that has exposed itself. And I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I can tell you that if there's one direction that lights you up and you feel all of the magic and you're seeing the synchronicity and you're getting the creative ideas, my advice would be to go in that direction.
I have been, like, this entire reading, you keep seeing me like shake over here. I have gotten chills this entire reading in my legs, back, head, and face, and everywhere, my arms too.
You're supported. And
we
the
love
tribe,
you so much.
the tribe card, you are going to attract people that are going to help you.
Yep.
If you start to think that you can't do this on your own, and that's where those thoughts of like, can I do this? That self-doubt is going to come in, which reminds me of the strength card and why you're going to need that strength and courage to move forward, because it's going to look different. It's not going to look like what you've always done or what your family always did or what you saw everyone doing. It's going to look different. And that's the scary part, because you may not know where you're going, but you know what 2020 taught us is that we may not know where we're going, but it's still okay. It's still okay in the end, and you really can't go wrong with following your heart, I personally believe. So I would seek out like-minded individuals. I would put a little bit of energy more in where you want to go, because the more that you keep trying to split, you're going to stay stagnant in both. You're not going to be able to move. I would choose a direction, move in that direction confidently, know that you're guided, know that you're protected, and know that you're going to fall into people that are going to help you get there. And I would do a little bit of meditation and reflection about why you're having such a hard time, not moving away from one option or the other. What have you learned there? Because maybe if you can do a little bit of meditation and really understand like why you've been there, the soul growth that you've had in that opportunity and how that aligns with where you want to go. That's what I think the guidance is. I don't know if you have anything else.
Could not have said it better. Take what you've learned when being alone, make a decision, move forward, and do it with confidence, because you have it in you.
In heart.
You can do anything you want to do, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
No. There's one last thing I wanted to say before we go. I've got a lot of beautiful messages that came in through, from so many people, and it's just so overwhelming. My heart was exploding. I know Melissa's heart was exploding. There were so many people that reached out to us, just thanking us for sharing these messages and just coming on and doing this and aligning with this and being here and showing up. And so I wanted to, if you have any topics or areas, especially of just the spiritual awakening or anything that we talk about here, we would love to hear that. So we might be able to address it or bring some clarity or comfort here. If this channel is bringing you comfort, that is just my dream. So
these readings are timeless. So if you clicked on this video today, you were meant to hear this message. It doesn't matter when it came out.
Yeah.
So we love you all so much. Thank you so
Can't wait to
much
see
for
you next week.
listening.
Bye.
Bye.